The 3,000, it's more an optical. It is not so much a technical breakout, although it does get the right kind of headlines, not necessarily on the business page, and that gets everybody thinking a little better, feeling a little better. But I would like to point out to Steve that in addition to having a GDP predictor from the Atlanta Fed and from the New York Fed, the New York Fed also has a recession probability index. And several people have pointed out for the first time in a long, long time, that has popped above 30% likelihood of a recession in 2020. Now, whenever it gets up to 30%, it's had a pretty good history of calling it. We've had recessions without it getting there, but whenever it's gotten there, we've come pretty close to a recession. Now, part of that indicator has to do with the yield curve. So Powell could take care of that if he cut rates the right way. And I would suggest to you that Powell is not only under the influence of the market, which he clearly was. I mean, he backed up immediately. And the other thing to note is how fearful the Fed is. Usually that statement would come out at 10 o'clock when he began testifying. They put it out at 8:30 in the morning, an hour before the market opened. They wanted to be sure that everybody read it, everybody discussed it, and everybody discounted it.
Art, one of the things I think is interesting here is, and I know the indicator you're talking about, we've talked about that. Obviously, we follow all the GDP prints, which is, between 1.5% and 2% on our CNBC Rapid Update. But I think it's curious that the market doesn't seem to be internalizing these recession fears. It seems to me like the market feels like it's getting a freebie here. It's not going to get all that much weaker growth. Trade tensions are out there, but they're really not going to slow the economy. It's trading as if, hey, we're going to have a pretty decent, okay economy and a quarter-point rate cut on top of that.
Yeah, no, I think the market is looking at the fact that that indicator, as well as other things, what's going on at the ECB, what's going on elsewhere globally, have put Powell in a situation where he's got to pretty much react. Very clearly by putting out that statement and what it said in the statement, they basically conceded that there's a very high likelihood for a June rate cut, probably 25 basis points. They don't want to call it an insurance cut, but the market is relaxed in the fact that it says with these warning signs, the Fed has got to keep the wheel moving.
I mean, your hat, Art, contradicts the words you're saying, right? How can we be at 3,000 on the hat and talking about recession with the words?
No. I'm not talking about necessarily an immediate recession. What I'm saying is, with the warning signs moving, Powell has got to move along, and that's exactly what he's doing. And that's why I've got the hat, and we'll have to get a higher hat soon, too, because the Fed is handcuffed on this so far. Between what's going on with the central banks around the world and what the market interprets from that, they don't want to walk away. They fully remember when they, as I believe, reacted in December and raised rates, what the market did. And the market panicked, and we had I don't think Powell wants to see that again. I don't think he's fully intimidated by the president, but I don't think he wants to see that flare up at all.